had so many thoughts that are racing in your head, but then when you try to speak it, it just doesn't come out right. You know exactly what you want to say, but then how you deliver it is totally different. You know, your words might jumble, you mumble, your mind goes blank, you might rush through it, and then suddenly the person that you're talking to looks confused. This is a common theme that I see in someone who often experiences stress and anxiety. They have a communication breakdown. So often what their thought process is going into that delivery process of saying it and then presenting it to the other person, it really becomes disconnected. And what's frustrating about it is that you find it hard to get your point across. You know, sometimes you try to talk calmly, you try to process your thoughts before delivering what you want to say. But when stress and anxiety takes over, it makes it harder for you to get your point across. You know, we all have this emotional side and the logical side. And when there is stress and anxiety, when it's involved, what happens is that our emotions tend to take over. So then what suffers? You know, our communication suffers. Our tone will change. It will either be more harsher, we might be louder, or it could be the total opposite. We can become more reserved. Our volume would be a lot more softer. You know, you might talk too quick, or your voice might be too shaky. And then the consequence of this is that people just stop understanding you. And that's frustrating, right? And this could really make or break you. You know, great communication allows you to connect with your colleague, with your boss, with your relatives, with your family, with your partner. And this is important because it creates confidence, it builds trust, and also it is the foundation to any good long-term relationships. And so I'm going to break it down for you now and show you how to fix it by using 4 key fundamentals. The first one is your speech, your volume, your posture, and pausing. So the first one is slowing down your speech. When you are anxious, anxiety causes us to naturally speed up. So what you want to do is slow down. Take a breath in between sentences. Number 2 is speak louder. So when you're nervous or overwhelmed, you may find yourself being a bit more reserved. Your tone can shift to become a lot more softer, or when you're stressed, you might become hesitant. So overall, this causes a disconnection because people can't hear you. So what I'd encourage you to try is speak louder, right? So don't confuse this with shouting. You really want to find that happy medium. So for example, if 0 meant volume very low and 10 is volume very high, aim for about volume 5 or 6. The next point number 3, we're going to look at your posture, right? How would you feel if I spoke to you with my arms crossed, my shoulders slouched, bad posture, and looking away? Try this instead. So you'd want to create a posture that is more welcoming and approachable. And this is a much more neutral posture. You know, when we're crossed arms like this, it tends to spark a more defensive posture, which is no good if you're in a conversation where it's conflicting ideas or when it's a bit more heated. So try this instead. To create a neutral posture, a more welcoming posture, drop the shoulders down, keep your arms open. Right, this is much more engaging. People can approach you, and also it conveys more confidence. And the very last one, tip number 4, is to pause. Often when we're stressed or anxious, we tend to rush through our sentences, and this can make people feel uncomfortable or they may not hear you. So as you get to your point that you want to bring across, just pause. You know, this is powerful in itself because it allows people to really digest what you're saying. I normally would recommend a pause of 3 to 5 seconds. So next time, if you start to feel stressed or anxious or overwhelmed, remember these 4 fundamental tips: your speech, your volume, your posture, and pause. I'd love for you to try one of these strategies today and see if you notice a difference in how you communicate and creating that connection, and share the experience with me. I'd love to know if this video resonates with you.